Nova Scotia is in the middle of a new gold rush. You heard me, but it's not about padding for gold. Mines are now open pits with massive tailings ponds. The new gold rush on the East Coast is so big, mining claims now make up nearly 1/5 of the province's landmass. Alana Westwood's lab at Dalhousie University has been tracking this. She's joining us from Halifax this morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
There have been, in fact, 3 gold rushes in Nova Scotia history, one in the early 1800s, another in the early 1900s, and one most recently in 1942. How is today's rush different?
It's exactly what you said. The scale would be unimaginable for those early miners who were using pickaxes, working underground, quite small mines overall. Here, we're looking at what's now really low quality ore. So about 1 gram per ton of rock. So that's like a paper clip of gold for every Volkswagen Beetle of rock that you're mining out of the ground today.
Your calculations show in 2013 there were 158 exploration licenses that covered 1.5% of Nova Scotia's total surface. This year, 2023, that number jumps to more than 2,000 licenses. You can see the difference in the graphs there. It covers 18% of the province. And you say about 10% of today's gold goes into green energy, things like car batteries, but where's the other 90% going?
Yeah, so only a small proportion goes into sort of technology uses. About half is jewelry. Of course, probably almost everyone watching is wearing some piece of gold jewelry or owns some in their box. And then the remaining proportion mostly goes into investment. We're talking gold bullion, corporations, governments holding gold as a security, as currency. So very little of it is actually going towards these technological uses or sort of the green transition.
Well, and then that makes sense given the market instability in the economy. Gold is always the place where people rush, so the valuation has shot up. The province's environmental assessment regulations have not been updated since 1995. So how does that play into mining companies finding health and environmental loopholes?
Yeah, it's really interesting. This is happening across Canada, but Nova Scotia is starting to shape up as a bit of a flashpoint for a national conversation. There are kind of new federal impact assessment laws. These are meant to allow us to look at the predicted impacts of a project on human health, on the environment, on communities, and then make a decision about whether or not to proceed with that project. Nova Scotia's laws are outdated at this point. There is, a promise from the government to update them much more fulsomely, but we haven't seen that materialize yet. Meanwhile, as exactly you there's this huge increase in the number of claims being staked, and that is going to lead to more mines being proposed. There's already more mines going through the impact assessment process than have been in years.
As you point out, mining claims happening at an unprecedented rate right now. What do you worry will happen if the laws don't catch up soon enough?
Well, right now in Nova Scotia, we are in a situation where we just don't have the ability under these laws to assess what are called cumulative effects really fulsomely. So not just looking at one project, but looking at what happens if you have one mine and then you open another mine and then you add other kinds of development in and around that. We're already living with a legacy of pollution from the much smaller footprint gold mines we did have. We have arsenic and mercury pollution still leaching from 100-old gold mines into our waterways, into our fish. We have methylmercury at above toxic levels from this pollution. So I'm a little nervous that we're going to end up with not just more of the same, but a lot more of the same if we don't have better oversight and better engagement for communities to say, okay, this is the development I want in my community, but there need to be safeguards, or to say no to that development if they don't want it in their community.
Alana Westwood, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.